What's up, fellow gelsofters? It is I, Mayhem Mayfa. Now, this video is into relations with the Sunday's event, just been, Battle for Supremacy 2. Now, it was relatively good, but yeah, it kind of was a bit of a disaster from the get-go. I think it was due to the previous event being changed and people's tickets being transferred to the new event, and then the restrictions and all that stuff that caused all that sort of thing. Like, it really put an effect on everyone. Numbers were down, teams were imbalanced, and they had to do a ton of like balancing out the teams so we could continue on with the day. So I looked through all the footage off my GoPro on that day, and I hate to say it, but there is not enough good footage. Very little to no engagement whatsoever. I did get a few people. I think in the end, I did maybe 15, maybe 20 kills, but I got absolutely destroyed. So yeah, it was an absolute disaster. But as I said, the improper numbers, bouncing teams, and we had about 5 or 6 games throughout the day. We had first game was a warm-up game, wasn't a part of the whole thing. It was just team deathmatch, and we did relatively well. No one won in that because it was just a warm-up game, about 15-30 minutes. Second game was number crunch. Now this one was one where you had to go and find numbers scattered all over the field and then try and assemble a code that was on lock, and the first team to solve the code and unlock the box was the winner. We were second in that. Team Bravo, I think, won that one. No, it was Team Charlie that won that one, actually, because they were smart enough to actually get the code right, and majority of their players were pretty mathematically smart. So yeah. Third game was just trying to remember. Third game was, we did a game of Gold Rush, but that was the last game, of course. We got about 6 bars. Bravo got the most. They got about 10 or 12. They won that. Game before that was, of course, King of the Hill, but it turned out to be a disaster, so we ended up placing that flag post somewhere else, and then focused on that. We won that game because we had the flag in the hold for longer. What else was there? There was another one that is involving transporting a supply box. I think it was called Supply Run. Bravo won that, I think, which was good. But yeah, it was relatively good. But yeah, but overall, the game was great. The day was good. The games were relatively interesting. We did have one game where we all took swap positions. Just trying to remember, but the games went for 5 minutes each, and that was a fast game before we finished for lunch. Just trying to remember the name of it, and because it was one where we had to, it was just trying to remember. I can't remember the name of the game. So yeah, but that was a relatively good game, except for the fact that it was the second time I ran over. I caught it on video. I jumped up towards the left side retaining wall to start shooting. I was warned by one of my other players about a person shooting from a tank to my left. I looked over and popped one right in the lip. There's no mark there because, I knew it was a hardened gel, but boy, it hurt. Luckily I had my mouth closed, because if I had opened my mouth when that went in, it would have gone down my throat and I would have been like, yeah. But yeah, the games were relatively good. Yeah, my organisation and the whole lockdown that happened previously, because like the previous event that was supposed to be happening back in August was known as the Last Stand. It was a zombie themed event. Unfortunately, they got absolutely scrapped because of the lockdowns and then the 2 weeks of restrictions, and that massively put a spanner in the works. I was not pleased by that, because like I hadn't played Gelball in like 4 months since Battle for Supremacy back in May, and it wasn't good. So I was a little disappointed in that. I mean, this pandemic has done a lot of damage, and you could tell on a lot of people's faces, like they were enjoying the day, but the day wasn't going as smoothly. But yeah, like I think the previous month's lockdown and all that just absolutely destroyed the future plans. And when they released the tickets for the Battle for Supremacy #2, not enough people bought tickets. Those who bought tickets from the previous cancelled event got transferred over, which was good. But the numbers weren't up. And when people mentioned about it, like I even posted up on my page that the tickets were on sale for Battle for Supremacy #2, and I just, yeah, it was just absolutely disastrous. Ticket numbers were down and all that. Yeah, so I don't blame Gelsoft Australia for this. I basically do blame the recent lockdowns. I do blame the government. I do blame the Queensland government for their harsh restrictions and banning sports for 2 weeks. That was not called for. Like, people could still play with masks and all that if they had to, but for them to just say no community sports for 2 weeks, that was a bit harsh. Like, it was legitimately harsh. Really wasn't called for, and there was a lot of people that were upset, especially business owners who owned fields. They had to close down, and that was really bad. So, you know, technically that sort of thing, like field operators and all that, those sort of businesses, they should be reprimanded and what's the word? Compensated for loss of business due to that. Like, some fields, they were pleading with the government, the Queensland Health, to allow them to operate because, you know, they'd lose money and a lot of business and wouldn't be able to struggle. Some were given the AOK, others were just ordered not to, and they were closed. But yeah, so technically, you know, there was nothing much that could be done, and all that. So yeah, Battle for Supremacy #2 was almost a fail due to that. Like, personally, I was impressed, but just the lack of numbers for certain teams was just very disappointing. I'm hoping there's no more problems for the next event, hopefully next month if we hear from it. I'm definitely going to try and go to it again. If they do a Battle for Supremacy #3, if it's #3 next month, I'm definitely going. I've had to do some minor modifications. Now, I took my Classic Army M16A2 sports line, but then before that I did some modifications, swapped handguards, did all this, added a suppressor, yada yada yada. That's now my Killer Sniper DMR. That blaster went flawlessly until the last game. Now, unfortunately for the last game, I put in a second Turnigy battery in, and about 2 minutes I think it was like 5 minutes in the game, the battery puffed, killed my blaster, couldn't operate it. I thought my blaster had called it quits until I took that battery out and noticed how puffed up it was. I've disposed of that battery safely. At the moment, it's in an old washing machine barrel that's buried under the ground. It's got dirt and ash and crap underneath it. So right now it's been disposed of. It's the only place I can do it because I can't put it in bins and all that, because if it got crushed by thingos it would cause fire and be nasty. So yeah, but the blaster went flawlessly. I have to actually change my... I actually have to change or replace that battery. I might buy another turnkey one, or otherwise I'll just buy one of the, I think they're Ace batteries, that thingo, depending. I can't really say. So yeah, not only that, but my Rev 8 Mark III blaster, the one that I've been loving since thingo, unfortunately came to its abrupting end. This abrupting end was absolutely heartbreaking. I was testing it out. I used it maybe once or twice, a couple of places. You may have seen them. First one I tried to use, first time I used it over at the junkyard back in 2020, prior to some other parts. Second time was over at Battle Supremacy. And that's when I had issues with gels because they were ungrown and shrunk, and that was absolutely disastrous. So yeah, but then after that I was prepping it and getting it ready, and then the unthinkable happened. The ambidextrous fire select switch had completely snapped. So technically, when you went to switch from safe to auto, safe to semi to auto, one side would do it and it would work, the other side it would stay in place. So apparently the pins that hold, because I think what happens is there's those screws and they're into the gearbox, and they're supposed to move simultaneously, and I think what's happened is I must have done something or over tightened it, and when I went to thingo it snapped. So unfortunately you can't replace, you can fix it, but it does require you to take the gearbox out. So I was just like, yeah, not gonna do it. So I've permanently commissioned it. Right now I've got it sitting here. So I've got, alright, so basically, alright, so right now I've got that. Alright, so you can see there's the problem right there. See, this button just won't stay thingo. So the whole fire select switch is snapped. Housing is snapped, so I can't change the fire select on this, which means it's completely gone, which is absolutely heartbreaking, because I was technically going to use this to play on Sunday, so that was a bit of a disaster. But don't worry, my Kublai K one that I've had for the past 2 years, I've pretty much just swapped all the parts, like the external the handguard, the external barrel, and the buttstock over. So basically, it's now known as the Rev 9 Mark IV. The last thing I'm going to do to it, hopefully by next fortnight's pay, I'll probably go up to Capalaba to M4A1 and get the battery connectors swapped over to the Titan battery T Deans. So then I can run it off the Titan battery, and then that way I can probably not worry about using the normal LiPo batteries that originally came with that blaster. I'm hoping in the near future to maybe change the M4 Cyborg, which is the silverback, SEMA silverback, to be powered by Titan battery as well. So yeah, so that pretty much wraps it up for this little update. I know I would have loved to have shown you the footage, but unfortunately majority of the footage was very let's just say crap. Plus I had duplicates. I don't know what hell happened with my GoPro. Some of the footage was in low quality and was just not capable of being used. I don't know what the hell happened to my GoPro, so that was a little annoying. So yeah. Anyway, that pretty much wraps it up for this little video. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to this update. Don't forget, if you want to support me, check out the links below in the description. They'll send you to all my links: Instagram, Facebook page. Of course, if you want to support this page and of course the channel, you can also buy me a coffee. And that way it will help me financially when it comes to things like repairs and maybe some future purchases, depending on what I decide to do. So yeah. Anyway, I'm going to leave it for now, and until I see you guys out on the battlefield, auf Wiedersehen.